Now I looked under there, and the feet on the front, there's way more gap here than down at the bottom. And I've already checked, I know I've got to lower this down. And I look in the back, and I already saw that the back foot over here is pretty low where it's at. The same thing over at that end there. So I'm hoping not to have to move those very much in the back. If anything, hopefully maybe only that right one. But we'll see, we'll figure it out. Why? Because we've got that level to work with. So I want to use this as my high point on the washing machine. Hopefully I don't have to move that foot because it's already kind of low, okay? I checked this before. I have to raise the back side of the level for the bubble to be right where it's supposed to be. So I know that this front has to go down. And I know I have to do the same thing over here. This side has to go down, okay? I checked that, and that's almost level. Actually, it's right on. Okay? That means I shouldn't have to move those back ones. Now you want to see the bubble on there probably. Let me get you in here a little closer. If you've never read a level before, you see that bubble right there? Now I'm going from left to right on that. And if I raise the left hand side of the level just a little, see, then the bubble gets right in between. If I was going like that, you know that's not level. You want that bubble right in the middle. Now what's that top one for? The top one you don't really see right now, but that's if you flip this around the other way. Okay? Now you're using the bottom level bubble. Okay? It's just so whichever way you've got this flipped, it should be the same. Now interestingly enough, when I look at that, see the line, it's just hitting the line right there. Well now if I flip it around, it should be at the very same spot. Then you know your level is pretty much adjusted properly. There's screws on there, and I don't like trying to adjust levels because you get it out and then you've just screwed up your level. There's a way to make adjustments for all that, and I wish I knew how to do it. But you know, if you've got an old level and you're checking it one way or another, if it doesn't seem like, see where that bubble is right there, the exact location, if you flip this around, it should be in the exact location again on that bubble. Same thing with these sides. This is for vertical. This is called plumb. When you're plumbing something up, you're plumbing up and down. Okay? You're leveling something left to right. Did you know that? That's how you do it. So if somebody says, hey, is it plumb? You know that's vertical. Okay? Plumb is that way. Level is that way. Enough of that. Let's get back to the project. Okay, so I know the back is pretty level. And I'm not really concerned about left to right at the front just yet. I know this left side has to go up, but that's because the right is too high and the right has to go down. But we already know, I checked it this way, the front, this whole front has to go down. So I've got to work with the front feet down here, okay? That's where we're going to start. Now here's the thing. If you don't have your washing machine perfectly level, it may start jumping around on you, especially something like this. See how much higher this is than a regular dryer height? You know, most washers are about that height. Now see how high up it is? That's because it's got that nice little shelf drawer underneath. Well, now that puts a lot more pressure on all those feet and those leg extensions and everything, and that's why these have a tendency to walk. Get that? baby leveled. And I'll tell you what we're going to do after that. First things first though, we're going to adjust those feet. Now of course, if you have somebody here helping you, you could have somebody lift this up like this while somebody's loosening up the legs and adjusting the legs and doing that. Well, I don't have that, right? I'm here all by myself, so I just have to do a little bit at a time, and I'll get it. Wish I had a little crescent wrench. I could have done it with that, but I didn't. I've got to do it with this. Okay, before you can adjust that, make sure you loosen up that bottom nut, okay? Then once I get this into position, I'll tighten up, reach down and tighten up these bottom nuts and keep it into place. I don't know how far I have to go just yet, but I'm going to keep adjusting these two front legs a little bit more, and then I'll check it again with the level. If you have to get back in there and adjust the back ones, you can do it. A little pair of channel locks will do the trick. Once you got everything level and you've got everything adjusted here, make sure you now get underneath here and tighten this nut back up. This is gonna keep it from this loosening up and getting this out of whack again. All right, tighten those up now. Now that back left foot, I needed to adjust a little bit, and it started to strip. Now how could I get that up? I've got is a hammer. What I've got is a hammer. I put a hammer back there, and I just tilted this up like this, and wedged the hammer down with my foot so it's up off the ground just a little bit. Now I can get down there and adjust it. I can just unscrew that a little bit with my hand and then tilt that back up, get the hammer handle out, double check it, and all that. If you need to get to one of your back ones, if you're having a hard time with those back ones, that's how you can do it. Now here's the key to the whole thing. You've got to get these nuts tight. After you make the adjustments up here, or before you make the adjustments, you have to have these nuts, make sure they're slightly loose in case you have to go down or something. But once you get all of these adjusted properly, you want to go back and tighten these up. If your back ones, if you can't reach them and tighten up the nut with a wrench, Then you've got to raise the back up a little bit to get the nuts tight down there, because you don't want them chattering and loosening up later, and then it's going to kind of go down at an angle again. Okay, I've got all this adjusted now. I've tightened all that up, but there's one additional thing I'm going to do. What do you suppose that is?